At this point,
Did your gear come up? Yes. Are you sure? We had a hydraulic system failure.
I'd lost trust in the airplane.
So the next part of the trip was really when we got involved with the Legacy Tour airplanes.
We were overnight in Rockford. The maintenance issues that we'd been experiencing to date had put everybody on edge. I think we're all in that mode of not really trusting the airplane again at this moment. You walk up to the airplane wondering what on earth is she going to throw at us next? Is there something leaking out of it, or is something fallen off of it, or is it going to work the next time we climb into it? I have several conversations with the aircraft. A lot of it's exclamation about what on earth is going on and why is this going on and what have I missed? Is it something that I did? Then you're trying to reason with her to give us a break here. So yeah, you're talking to her the whole time.
Number 8236 Charlie, Rockford Tower, you can proceed on course, runway 7, clear for takeoff, wind 050 at 10.
Okay, clear takeoff, runway 7, straight out on course. Thanks, 36 Charlie.
Entered runway 07, 9,900 feet remaining.
And then took off, headed to
Oxford.
This is not a long flight. Our flight was VFR, but we're kind of picking our way between layers, and the weather was starting to deteriorate.
We had to make an instrument approach to get in.
Oxford was really the destination, which is where we were going to meet up with all other members of the squadron. Finally, we had one leg without a maintenance issue. That was nice.
Our first major segment of the trip was done. But in the scope of what we were planning to do, it was like walking from your front door to the driveway. We arrived there with a very clear understanding that there was a lot more to be done, and it was just going to get more challenging from there. In 1950, DC-3s were flying that route.
We're dealing with the same distances. We're dealing with the same or very similar weather.
The DC-3 and its predecessor, the DC-2, brought together every major technology improvement of the era. Foot brakes, hydraulically powered undercarriage, duplicate instruments in the cockpit. The noise level was dramatically less. Cabin heating was installed. Proper lavatories were installed. All of a sudden, you had the modern airliner cabin with nice seats, curtains, lights, air vents. There's a raft of improvements, almost too many to mention.
American Airlines saw the DC-2 and said, hey, this is a great airplane, but what we need is 7 more passengers. We need greater capacity. They modified the DC-2 to the DC-3 to give it greater passenger capacity, and that's what made it financially viable.
Up to 1935, airlines depended totally on mail contracts to survive. To travel on an aircraft, you had to follow a mail route. You had to drop mail here, then there, and then there. And the DC-3 freed airlines from mail contracts because it was the first aircraft that was able to make money just by hauling passengers. The air routes were direct, New York to Chicago non-stop. That hadn't happened before.
But our navigation, our communication, and our weather forecasting is literally light years ahead of anything that was available to the crews of the 1950s. I imagine that they were a little more efficient than we were. They had much better maintenance resources. I mean, they could change engines in an afternoon. That would have made traveling via the DC-3 in the 1950s more efficient, faster, maybe.
The world has advanced in terms of air travel. Air travel in a DC-3, not so much. Once we were in Oxford and starting the trip across, we added some new people. Nige Watson as his chief of operations. At the same time, we were joined by Chris, who is a third pilot. The length of legs that we anticipated coming across the Atlantic just made it prudent to have 3 pilots on board. And then Tyler, a mechanic who works for Paul, joined us so that we would have one full-time mechanic on the airplane in addition to Paul. We increased our crew numbers by 3, all good additions.
We're in Oxford with the D-Day Squadron. Our first commitment is the Hudson River corridor.
Dakota flight ready. Report ready for departure. Dakota lead. Dakota 2 is ready. Dakota 3 ready. Dakota 4 is ready. Dakota 5. Dakota 6. Dakota 7. Dakota 8.
There's what's called a VFR corridor. It's a special rules area. The procedure is when you're flying southbound along the Hudson, you fly along the New Jersey shore. You turn around, go around the Statue of Liberty, and come back northbound along the New York City shore, where you can fly below 1,200 feet over the river.
Dakota 4-4, you're cleared to go through Dutchess Class D. Dakota 4-4, roger, thank you. 21. 23.
1,200 feet is lower than some of the buildings.
All right, Dakota flights, let's go ahead and go back into parade. 25. 27.
It feels like you can reach out and touch the buildings. You can see people waving at you from their windows.
29.
At 1,000 feet over the Hudson River with the New York skyline on one side and JFK on the other side.
28.
The world-famous skyline. I cannot believe that this is legal.
24.
We can do this without going to prison.
23. 25.
It's just such an unusual thing to do in an airplane, but it is perfectly legal.
28. 26.
Absolutely spectacular.
We'll be making a left turn shortly. 25. There'll be a left turn. We're starting that turn now. 21.
Didn't get to see anything like that before.
23. 25. We'll go north of the river and then we'll make the turn over the park.
I would guess that we were seen and taken notice of by 1 million people, and highly appreciated by the folks on the ground who saw it, including my wife.
Breaking news. A sky full of DC-3s just swept down the Hudson. Wings in harmony, engines roaring above Lady Liberty. A powerful tribute to the New Yorkers who once crossed the Atlantic to fight in Europe, and to those who never came home. But this flight honors more than memory. It salutes the man who made it all possible, a Brooklyn-born kid who dreamed big, who once played Highland Knights in Prospect Park, Donald Wills Douglas.
He was born in Brooklyn in 1892. He was the second son. Mr. Douglas Sr., William Douglas, was a banker. He went to Trinity College, graduated from Trinity College in 1909, and that was a pivotal time. He had developed a real passion for things in the sea, but in 1909 he witnessed the final test flight for the Wright Flyer, Orville and Wilbur Wrights, and he was absolutely overwhelmed by this event. He decided that the best way to pursue this new interest, this new love in his life, was to enter into the US Naval Academy at Annapolis. But he found that he was more interested in flying than the naval side of things. He decided to, after 3 years, to drop out of Annapolis and go to MIT, where he enrolled in an engineering course, because there was no aeronautical engineering course at the time. Was told that it would take 4 years to do it, and he said, well, I'll do it in 2. And he did.
This morning, Chris, if we put you in the right seat, Nick, join us on the jump seat, right? And we'll just use this as an opportunity to refamiliarize you with the checklists, with the SIC duties, and with the ship systems. Yeah,
Sounds good.
Okay. And then as the rest of the trip goes on, we'll be trading in and out of those seats. So, all right. So we've got a little ways to go here, but let me go. Chris, you want to jump back in the seat? And I'll go pull the gust lock and get the cabin.
As we flew this trip, we fell into a pretty standard routine, and that is get up very early, be at the airplane early, take off, do the flight, land, take care of the airplane, which is a bigger part of the project than you might think. This is an 82-year-old airplane, and she needs a lot of love between flights. You know, have some dinner and go to bed late, and then do it again the next day. That was the routine, and we did that for the next 30 days. After Oxford, we went to Presque Isle, Maine.
My mindset at that point when we depart Oxford, we are with the D-Day Squadron, so we're flying with 4 other airplanes at that point. This is our 4th flight since the departure from Rocky Mountain, where we had our hydraulic system failure. That lack of confidence that I had described was, we were starting to build a relationship with the airplane again. Starting to feel a little bit more comfortable that this thing is capable of flight without throwing up an emergency. We are getting into some serious country now. I'm thankful that we're going to stop in Presque Isle. The more opportunities that we get to put cycles on the airplane, the more of those that we can do before the North Atlantic, the better from my perspective. A, it builds confidence, but B, we're shaking the airplane down again. Let's give it a chance to throw up all of its maintenance issues now before we get into those North Atlantic legs.
We had a very nice flight from Oxford to Presque Isle.
The aircraft Spirit of Douglas is modified slightly, so she is a little faster. So if we overtook the other DC-3s en route and were the first to land,
after we touched down, we were taxiing in. I looked over at the gate or the fence along the parking lot, and I couldn't believe how many people were there. It turns out that there were 3,000 people